I've gone on so many hiking trips, planned and prepped and ready for whatever the trail may bring, hoping that everything will go off without a hitch. But things rarely go off without a hitch, and mistakes are always made. So I thought I would make this video to share my experiences and all the mistakes I'm hoping to avoid on the Appalachian Trail this year, hopefully. Hey there, I'm Stella. Welcome to another video. This year I'm attempting a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail. And in this video, I want to talk about a bunch of common mistakes that I've made on trail and that I've seen other hikers make. And then some mistakes that are a little bit more unexpected, but definitely avoidable if you come in to it with the right awareness. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the mistakes that are like pretty common and maybe a little obvious. So first of all, a mistake I've made is wearing the wrong shoes. I think for a thru hike, it's really important to make sure that your toes have enough space in your shoes. I feel like that's almost the most important thing with your footwear is that like you have room for your toes to expand, so that way the top of your toes aren't rubbing the top of your shoes. I attempted a 200-mile section on the Appalachian Trail in 2016 before I was a thru hiker and before I knew anything about resupplying, and I can tell a bit more of that story later, but it turns out I only made it like 40 miles or something, and it was because my boots were like too tight and I hiked too far, I had too much weight, and I hurt my knee and my toes. And so I had to get off trail. So wearing the right shoes is really important for that reason. Another common mistake that I've made is not stretching enough. I think a lot of my foot problems, along with like if I was wearing the wrong shoe, came down to not stretching enough. So my feet, and feet in general on the trail just like get so tight because they're working so hard. And it's so important to stretch out your feet, like putting my fingers in between my toes and like giving my feet a little massage and stretching out my calves and stretching out my hamstrings and my quads. Like all of that is so important to keep up on the daily. And I have made the mistake of just not stretching at all because you're so exhausted, because I'm so exhausted. And so that is a mistake I really don't want to make on this trail. It's like making time, making an effort to stretch. So my next common mistake is not staying hydrated enough, especially when it's cold out. When it's cold out, you're not thinking about water as much and you're just not as thirsty, and it's easy to get dehydrated. And if you get dehydrated, your muscles aren't functioning as well as they would be if you were hydrated. Your emotions are different, like your exhaustion levels are different, and just everything just runs a little bit more smooth if you make sure you're drinking enough water out there. Even if you don't want to filter it and you don't feel like you need it, just make sure you're drinking enough water. For me, that's probably at a minimum 3 liters a day, but sometimes 4 is even better. I don't know, it also just depends on your body and what your needs are. So common mistake number 3 is stay hydrated. The next mistake that I've made on trail is carrying too much weight. So that trip I was talking about with my boots being too small, I also had a 45-pound pack on, which I wasn't trained to carry. Like it's definitely possible to carry a 45-pound pack with all your gear and if that's like what you choose to do, but I definitely think it's important to be prepared physically to be able to handle and endure that. I wasn't trained and prepared for a hike with a 45-pound pack, and it was that heavy because I was hoping to do like 14 days and I didn't want to resupply So I just was like, I'll just bring 14 days of food, which is absolutely bonkers. And I don't like, I don't think you should do that unless like you are actually out in the wilderness where there's no resupply options for 14 days. So my pack was just way too heavy. I was carrying 2 liters of water like all day while I was passing multiple streams. And there were just so many ways that I could have lightened my pack before this trip that I just didn't. And I just carried too much weight, and it was like not good for my body. Like I was not able to do, I was like, I got injured, you know? And that all goes into the mistake of carrying too much weight for your body that you're not prepared for. And so the next mistake, I don't know if it's like super common, but it's really a really common mistake for me to make. And that is not taking enough breaks. I think that like my body like restores itself so well when I take breaks. And especially like at night, like you'll end the day completely exhausted, feet unable to keep going. And then in the morning, after your long break through the night, you'll be able to, you know, do it again. But I've found that like if I implement short breaks throughout the day, maybe every 5 miles for me is like a good goal, my body just restores itself and is able to keep going, and I get less emotional and like I feel less intense, and my feet have a moment to stretch and air out, and like because it's important to take off your shoes and socks if they're all wet or sandy or anything like that, and just like give yourself a good break. This one is really hard for me because I get like a fixed goal in my mind, like I want to be at this place by this time after this many miles, and then like I don't get just like uncomfortable to sit down. But I remember on the PCT in Northern California, I was like forcing myself to take like a break every 5 miles because we were hiking 30 miles a day, and my feet were like just so sore. They were so sore, and it was really challenging. And so I was just like, okay, like just sit down after 5 miles, every 5 miles, and take a break. And that like really, really helped. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else struggles with this, but it's a struggle for me. It seems silly because it's like so obvious. Like, yeah, take a break if you're tired, but it's just weird that I get wound up and I'm like, I don't want to take a break, I just want to go. So now I'm going to get into some mistakes that are a little bit more unexpected, at least for me. One of these mistakes was like cooking all my meals. Maybe that goes into the breaks thing, but on this last section hike of the CDT I did, I cooked all my meals and I didn't really carry that many snacks. And that was a mistake for me just because of like my emotional well-being. Like you don't have anything unless you stop and cook. And the only place to stop, like you're in the middle of like an area where it's kind of dangerous to pull out your stove because it's like super grassy and dry. And there's just like no area. Like there's just like so many reasons why cooking all my meals was like a really bad idea. I think cooking my dinner is a good idea for me until it stops being so freezing cold, and then I want to do no cook or just cold soaking. And I didn't expect that like cooking all my meals would be a mistake. The pro of it was eating healthier. I was eating healthier, and that was nice. My next unexpected mistake is like not giving myself time to get comfortable on trail when the trail doesn't meet my expectations. So I guess that could also be like, don't have expectations, like, or, you know, like be aware of the expectations that you have might not actually be the reality of what it's like on trail. Like specifically what I'm talking about is like my last section of the CDT in Glacier National Park. I had to hang my food every night and get it down every morning. I was cooking all my meals. There was a lot of bugs just right away because it was July 5th or 4th, you know, like around that time. And so every campsite, everywhere was just like so buggy. And then I would climb all day and then get to the pass and it would be like about to thunderstorm and I would have to like run to camp and not be able to enjoy being up high and all the work that I just did to get up there. So all of that, like, I know that those things are possible, but I wasn't really expecting them. And so they were really uncomfortable. And I mean, obviously I was expecting the bear hang, but I wasn't expecting that it would be like, it was just like so not as fun as just like not having to do a bear hang and like being in grizzly country and worrying about grizzlies. Like I'm just, so what I'm trying to say is that I think that like I would have had a better experience while I was on trail if I was just like really making an effort to like let it go that these things are uncomfortable and like just find my center of peace and just like allow myself like time and like space emotionally, mentally to like accept that the trail, like my experience on trail wasn't meeting my expectations exactly. So I hope that one made sense. I have two more unexpected mistakes. One of them is being afraid to be alone. It's definitely okay to be afraid, and everyone has a different journey with fear. And I do want to make a whole video about fear, maybe multiple videos about fear. But it's a mistake for me in my goals and in like my rhythm of life on the trail. Like it's harder to connect to like what you want when you're afraid to do it alone. I feel like I don't want to get pulled into a trail family that's like not the right fit for me just because I don't want to be alone. And I feel like that's kind of happened in the past. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful for everyone that I've ever hiked with. And I feel lucky for that. And at the same time, I also know that like I wasn't necessarily always aligned with everyone, or maybe I didn't feel like loved or valued, and or like my pace just like wasn't a match for their pace. And so like I held myself back or I pushed myself too far because I didn't want to be alone. So I think depending on your goals, like the fear of being alone can be a mistake. That one's a little bit harder to explain. So yeah, I'll make a video about fear and kind of talk about that more. But I think that like that kind of pours into my last mistake that I'm going to talk about in this video, because surely it's not my last mistake ever. I make mistakes all the time. The last mistake I'm going to talk about in this video is the mistake of like getting too caught up in like the hope of having a trail family and then letting social dynamics like be on my mind too much. Like when I first started the Pacific Crest Trail, I was alone, and then I just like had so much hope to make a trail family, but also I was so driven to like do my own thing and to listen to my body and to like make miles, but also like slow down when I needed to slow down. And so like it was kind of like conflicting. Everyone I met was kind of like partnered up already. Like, you know, it was just like I just so happened to start on the day that like no one else was like super looking to find a trail family. And I mean, that's not 100% true because I didn't meet or have a good conversation or get the chance to have a good conversation with every single hiker that I met on my first day or my first few days, like on the Pacific Crest Trail. But I just remember feeling like so let down because like I like really wanted to have a trail family like the whole way, and I just like I just didn't make one. And like I made friends that I'm thankful for, and there were like times and sections of the trail where I was hiking with one group and things like that. But like I've learned that for me, like going into like the Appalachian Trail, I'm really like not setting too much stock in like something I can't control. Like I can't control if I'm gonna meet people that like are going my pace, like are a good fit for me, for my personality. We enjoy each other, we have good conversation, like, and also I really do like alone time. So it's just like there's so many different things that are wound up in the like social dynamics of being on trail with people and creating a trail family, that for me it was a mistake to put like way too much hope in like one specific way for it to look, rather than just being open to like what will be, and being comfortable in myself and being comfortable with the people that I am around to navigate like feeling good, even if I, you know, don't meet people that, or don't get a chance to develop that trail family. Yeah, so I do have hope of like making friends and building a community and connecting with people. And so I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say that like I don't want to be like put so much hope in it looking a specific way. Those were my mistakes that I've made on trail that I'm hoping to avoid on the Appalachian Trail. So you can call me out when you watch if you watch my vlogs and you see me making these mistakes. Definitely let me know in the comments, like, hey, you said you were going to take a break, and you said you were going to minimize your gear, and you said, you know, I need some accountability on your guys' end. So, and that'll be fun. But I hope you enjoyed this video. The days are like flying by. That's why I'm putting out so many videos, is because like I want to do all these videos before I start the trail, and I'm starting the trail so soon. So I'm just trying to like go and put them out because it's fun, and I've been enjoying it, and I've been loving the energy and getting to know you guys on the other end who are like really a big part of the Appalachian Trail community, who's been a part of my community like on YouTube. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.